Good day, everyone. Trust you're doing well today. So, finally, we have crossed the much anticipated 200,000 ASI points. That's all share index points. So, this is the first time ever this is happening in the Nigeria Stock Exchange. This is a big deal on a technical level because the market stayed above 200k zone, even after the profit taking before the Eid celebration and holiday last week. So basically, it was a strong breakout, very, very strong, and then it quickly consolidated. And another reason why this is a big deal is because this is like a new price territory. And going forward, it really signifies that not only that Nigerian stock is bullish, it might also be volatile too. Now, these are some few reasons why we broke into this new 200,000 level this quick. Number one, huge institution fresh money being poured into the market. For instance, market gained over 1.9 trillion in one day. Now, this indicates that big money such as, pension fund money and other big institution money, right, were really active in the market. Number two, the active presence of retail investors. Retail investors are investors like you and me, and short-term traders, entering and exiting the market. Number three, it's worth to note that momentum carryover from February rally was actually another factor that has greatly influenced the ASI. Well, if you remember, we actually did around 16% in February. So that's another factor, that contributed. Then number four, continued oil price strength. Now, due to the Middle East tension between Iran and US Israel, which has actually resulted in the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, the price of crude keeps increasing globally. The ripple effect for the Nigerian stock market means fresh money are being poured into the oil and gas sector, which again contributes to the increment of the ASI. So, in summary, what actually happened last week was starting Monday, there was massive rally. Big institutions were buying, and all share index jumped above 200k points. And by Wednesday, market became slightly unstable because some investors started taking profits, to enable them celebrate the holiday, the Eid holiday. That was what happened last week. So now let's get into my stock recommendation for this week. In the banking sector, there is a lot of money rotation going on. And a good one to buy this week is Fidelity Bank. Another one to buy is FCMB. Then another one to also buy is UBA. Access Holding is another one to buy as well. However, if you're holding Zenith and Stanbic right now, nothing is really wrong with them. But at this point, they look so overbought. They're good, but they look so overbought. So we might as well want to start, selling right now or just keep holding, but it's not advisable to keep buying. Next is in the consumer goods sector. In the consumer goods sector, Nigeria berries, has strong recovery story. So Nigeria berries, costs are stabilizing for Nigeria berries, and they came up with good business restructuring, which is now being so effective for them. So Nigeria breweries is a good one to buy for now. However, if you're holding Dangote sugar, it's the right time for you to consider selling. Next is in the industrial goods sector. In the industrial goods sector, Dangote cement, is a good one to buy. Another one that is promising to buy is Lafarge. That's WAPCO. There's a lot of construction going on right now in Nigeria. Even the coastal road, they use a lot of cement. So, those two are really good. They are really good to buy. Next is in the oil and gas sector. Well, this sector has been in the news for like the past 3 weeks now since the tension in the Middle East started. However, the best, or should I say, the promising stocks to buy in this sector at the moment is Seplat Energy and Arador. Both are really good to buy at this point. Next is in the agricultural sector. In the agricultural sector, Presco is a good one to buy. But if you're holding Okumu, you might as well look into selling at this point. And in the ICT sector, MTN and Airtel is a buy. Basically, here is an overview, like a snapshot of what is going on, the mood in the market. Now, what is really happening is, big investors such as the pension fund, money, and the big institutional investors, what they did is, or what they are doing is, they already, bought big banks, stocks like Zenith, GTCO, and other top tier banks and companies, not only banks. Now, what they are doing is they are rotating into mid-tier banks such as Fidelity, FCMB. And what they're also doing is they are also snapping up, undervalued stocks such as, Lafarge, Nigeria Breweries. It's not a bad thing, okay? Everybody wants to make money. It's actually called, sector rotation. So that's why I'm keeping you, updated as regards, which sector they are going into, just so you go in with them as well and make this money with them as well. So this is all I have this week. If you gain value, don't forget to support the channel by, liking this video and subscribing to the channel. See you again in the next video. Bye for now.